All right, Jen. So today we are going to read this story called Girls Who Skate. But before we do, we're going to write down some of our vocab words in our vocab packet, okay? So the first word I have for us is yearning.
Yearning.
Yep, yearning.
Like, does it mean like wanting?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So it's like wanting or something you might desire. Could be a synonym. So wanting or to desire.
Hello, this is the Media Call Library. This message is for Lisa. Just
So maybe like you yearn to drive a car. You really want to be 16 so you can drive.
Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
All right, our second one that we're going to look at is convene. Convene. C-O-N-V-E-N-E. Alright. Convene is like if a group of people come together or you come together in a group. So you might have a group that they convene and like for a book club, or maybe it's a chess club, you might convene with them. So convene is to come together in a group. Awesome, you got that one? I need to find any research. Alright, our next one then, this is a long one. Serendipitous. So let's look at that one. Let's break that apart. Ser, S-E-R-N-E-N, dip, serendip, serendipitous. It's a long one. So serendipitous is a fancy way of saying like in a happy or a lucky way.
It's dumb.
So in a happy or lucky way. So you might feel really serendipitous if you won the lottery. It might be a serendipitous feeling. Alright, our next one is another long one. This is camaraderie. Camaraderie. So camaraderie is like a feeling of trust or friendship. So it's kind of like, have you ever heard of like sisterhood? Yeah, so it's kind of like saying that. So camaraderie is trust and friendship. So there might be like a feeling of camaraderie when you went to scout camp.
Just letting you know that a book that you placed on hold has arrived, and we have it on hold shelf for you. You can pick it up Monday.
All right, and then our last one that we're gonna look at is exemplify. Exemplify. And it's like an example of something. Alright, so those are the words that we are going to look for when we read this story. So you can leave this open next to you just in case you need it. So this story is called Girls Who Skate. from looking at the pictures, it looks like they do what kind of skating?
Skateboarding.
Yeah, skateboarding. Because when I say skating, it could be like roller skating, skateboarding, things like that. But it looks like they're doing skateboarding. Have you ever been skateboarding?
I've tried.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too good at it. But the reason I picked this was because it kind of reminds me of Girls on the Run, which is like a club for, like, that's one you're in, right? For running. Yeah, so it looks like this might be kind of similar, but with skating. So we're gonna read this. When we read, I want us to pay really close attention to how we're scooping our words. And I want us to pay close attention to, like, trying to think and figure out what we're reading. So in this passage, we're gonna look at a couple sentences, but some of them are really wordy, and there's a lot of big words that sometimes trip me up. So we're gonna practice, when we're done reading this, we're gonna practice looking at specific sentences and breaking them down so that they're easier for us to understand, okay? So I'm gonna start by having you first read this, and then I'll read it, and then we'll talk about it, okay? So you can start whenever you are ready. First let's look at her name, because her name is kind of different. So it looks like it's Sosina Chala.
Sosina Chala.
Yeah, so that's just how I say it. That might not be quite right.
Sosina Chala calls Ethiopia a country needless in the heart of Africa. Her home,
Wait, let's look at this.
nestled in the heart of Africa, her home. At the age of 16, she caught sight of some boys engaging in the thrilling activity of skateboarding, a pursuit she had only admired from afar, through the lenses of movies. Despite her yearnings, the chance to partake had remained elusive until
That was the tricky one, serendipitous.
the serendipitous encounter summoning her courage. She sought permission to join, and to her delight, discovered immense joy in the experience.
Let's look at this real quick. Not immense.
Immense.
Good, there we go. Immense joy in the experience.
In Ethiopia, the realm of skateboarding was primarily occupied by boys. A circumstance that inspired
Sosina.
Sosia to effect changes. Teaming up with her friend Mickey, they embarked on the creation of Ethiopian Girl Skaters EGS Club, inspiring to expand the horizon of girls in skateboarding. Since its inception,
Good.
more than 150 girls have embraced the opportunity to learn skateboarding free of charge through the club. The club converses on Saturday.
Oop, we're down here. Remember, that's one of our vocab
The
words.
club convenes on Saturday at Addie's skate park, nestled in the bustling capital city of Addis Ethiopia. Her here amidst strategic structured lessons and communal play, friendship blossomed and courage thrives.
Good job.
Skateboarding serves as a
Conduit. That one's kind of a
conduit
funny word.
for fostering
Camaraderie. Camaraderie and resilience.
and resilience among most girls. Moreover, the club extends a helping hand to those grappling with educational or personal challenges.
So it's this word with ing.
Exploiting.
Exemplifying.
Exemplifying the spirit of solitude. While the roots of skateboarding stretched back to Californian in times of yore, its advent in Ethiopia unfolded nearly a decade ago. Traditionally perceived as a pursuit reserved for boys, Sosina endeavors.
And yeah, it looks like it could be endeavors. It's endeavors.
Endeavors to debunk such notions.
Good job.
Championing the notion that skateboarding is pursued open to all. With the
precincts.
With the precincts of the skate park, skateboarding's adored with incretion.
So this is within the precincts of the skate park. Skateboards adorned with the inscription Detsa, abound, signifying joy, in Amharic, one of Ethiopia's native languages. That's a mouthful of a sentence. So, what does it mean if something's adorned?
Like wearing?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll look at that one again later. That's a big sentence.
These boards are generously provided by Detsa Skateboards, a company committed to promoting accessibility of sports. Sosina and Mickey nurture inspiration of establishing a retail outlet in the future. With the aim of spreading the joys of skateboarding to a wider audience across Ethiopia.
Nice job. This passage has a lot of really long sentences that have a lot really big words. So you did a great job reading it. What I really like is when you're not quite sure about a word, you go back and you correct yourself if it doesn't sound right, which is a really good skill to have. So I'm gonna read it one time now to you, and then we're gonna look closer at some of these sentences, okay? So I just want you to follow along. So it starts with Sosina Chala. So the thing with names is sometimes names are kind of funny. Like funny as in like they might not be super common. So sometimes instead of getting hung up on the names, I just kind of make up a name sometimes. So I might call them like S. Just like as long as you call them the same thing throughout, just because then I don't spend a lot of the time trying to figure out and remember what the name was, because sometimes the names I've never even heard of. Alright, so Sina Jalo calls Ethiopia, a country nestled in the heart of Africa, her home. At the age of 16, she caught sight of some boys engaging in the thrilling activity of skateboarding, a pursuit she had only admired from afar through the lenses of movies. Despite her yearnings, the chance to partake had remained elusive until that serendipitous encounter. Summoning her courage, she sought permission to join, and to her delight, discovered immense joy in the experience. In Ethiopia, the realm of skateboarding was primarily occupied by boys, a circumstance that inspired Sosina to effect change. Teaming up with her friend Mickey, they embarked on the creation of Ethiopian Girls Skaters EGS Club, aspiring to expand the horizons of girls in skateboarding. Since its inception, more than 150 girls have embraced the opportunity to learn skateboarding free of charge through the club. The club convenes on Saturdays at Addis Skate Park, nestled in the bustling capital city of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Here, amid structured lessons and communal play, friendships blossom and courage thrives. Skateboarding serves as a conduit for fostering camaraderie and resilience among the girls. Moreover, the club extends a helping hand to those grappling with educational or personal challenges, exemplifying the spirit of solidarity. While the roots of skateboarding stretch back to California in times of yore, its advent in Ethiopia unfolded merely a decade ago. Traditionally perceived as a pursuit reserved for boys, Sosina endeavors to debunk such notions, championing the notion that skateboarding is a pursuit open to all. Within the precincts of the skate park, skateboards, adorned with the inscription Detsa, abound, signifying joy in Amharic, one of Ethiopia's native languages. These boards are generously provided by Desta Skateboards, a company committed to promoting the accessibility of the sport. Sosina and Mickey nurture aspirations of establishing a retail outlet in the future, with the aim of spreading the joys of skateboarding to a wider audience across Ethiopia. Whew, that's a lot of challenging words. Alright, so when I read this, like I said, that's one of the first things I notice, is that there's a lot of really like higher level vocab words, and some of them, like, they're just a mouthful when you say them. So that sometimes makes it harder for me to understand what I'm reading. So what I do is I look at it sentence by sentence and try to break it down and figure out what is this sentence even saying. So one that I want to look at is right here. Since its inception, more than 150 girls have embraced the opportunity to learn skateboarding free of charge through the club. So that's a really long sentence. I'm going to break it up into parts that I know. So since its inception, like since it began, more than 150 girls have embraced. What does it mean to embrace?
Like to take in?
Yeah, kind of to take in. So more than 150 girls have embraced the opportunity. So they took the opportunity to learn skateboarding free of charge. What does free of charge mean?
Like you don't have to pay?
Yeah, so they don't have to pay because of this club. So now I understand that it's saying that all these girls joined the club and they don't have to pay to do it. They can just go and skate. See how that's like breaking it down and putting it in my own words that aren't super like elaborate and crazy. It makes it easier for me to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Let's also look at moreover, the club extends a helping hand to those grappling with educational or personal challenges, exemplifying the spirit of solidarity. Okay, so it says the club extends a helping hand. So here I'm thinking of the club, I'm thinking that it's helping the girls that are grappling with educational or personal challenges. What does grappling mean?
Like fighting with?
Yeah, so they're kind of fighting with or struggling with educational or personal challenges. And that the club exemplifies the spirit of solidarity. So if we look at exemplify, it's like an example. So it's an example of the spirit of solidarity. What does solidarity mean?
Together?
Yeah, kind of. It's like solidarity, you're right. It's like if you're standing together. So now I'm looking at this, saying, okay, this club helps girls that are struggling with some kind of challenge in their life by exemplifying or like showing that people can come together despite what's going on and they can be there for each other, kind of like we're talking about. It's a camaraderie, it's like a sisterhood. All right, and the last one that I want to look at was the one that we are struggling with. All right, within the precincts of the skate park, skateboards adorned with the inscription Desta abound, signifying joy in Amharic, one of Ethiopia's native languages. Okay, so within the skate park, skateboards adorned. You told me that adorned means like it's on it, you're wearing it. So skateboards, can skateboards wear something? Like, can they wear a shirt? No. So my guess is that the skateboards are going to say this because it says with the inscription. I know inscription is like a writing because you can get like bracelets or rings inscribed. So the skateboards say Desta. I don't really know what Desta means, but it tells me right here it signifies joy in Amharic. So Desta means joy in Amharic, one of Ethiopia's native languages. Oh, okay. So see, when you break it up, it makes it easier for me to understand what this huge long sentence is saying. Yeah, because the first time I read it, I'm like, I'm not quite sure. But when I go through and I look at each part, then it starts to make sense and it starts to come together. All right. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to answer a couple questions just about the passage. So, I'm going to look. So it says, think about Chala and her skateboarding club. What caused her to start the EGS and what impact is it having on her community? So do you remember, why did she want to start this club?
So that girls can do things that are mostly like things that boys do.
Yeah, do you see in the story where it tells us why?
Because she saw boys like at the skate park.
You're right. Yeah, it says she caught sight of some boys engaging in the thrilling activity of skateboarding. So she saw them doing it and she thought, hey, I want to do that too. So what do you think we could write here? What caused her to start the EGS and what impact is it having on her community? So let's start by answering this first question. What caused her to start it? So we could say what?
To show.
Yeah, she wanted
that girls can do things
Okay, sounds excellent.
that are mostly things that boys do.
Good. And then what caused, or sorry, I just answered that one. What impact is it having on her community? So, because she started it, what's going on now? Has it been positive? Is it negative?
It's been positive
Okay, why do you think it's been positive?
because it's getting the girls to realize that whatever is happening, they're not alone.
Yeah, that's like, oops. That was the sentence that we underlined and talked about. Yeah, it talks about how they, like, if they're going through challenges, they know that they're not alone, that they're together, and that they can get through it. So we can write about that. That's a great example, Jen. So I'm gonna say, I think it's having a positive impact because, what can we say?
It's showing the girls that they're not alone in anything.
Yeah, right, because it's not even just like they're not alone. Well, because not that many girls are still skateboarding, so it's not even like they're not alone in that, they're just not alone in general. Absolutely. So we could say, I think because it shows the girls that they're not alone, and they build friendships, right? All right, last question we're going to answer. Why do you think the author wrote this article?
To show that girls can like do things that boys are usually known for, and that girls when they come together they can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. When girls come together, they can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Or like there is no like girl sports or boy sports. They're all just sports that anyone can do. I think you're exactly right about that. So I'm gonna say I think the author wrote this to show
That the girls together are strong
and that they can do
a lot more.
Yeah, and they can do what they put their minds to. All right, nice job. I love how we did a good job of going through it and breaking up our sentences. I think that made this passage easier to understand. And this is something that I do all the time, especially when I'm reading like textbooks and there's a lot of like specific vocab. Like I think of science when I'm reading science books. Sometimes I'm like, because I'll have all these vocab terms that I'm not super familiar with, I always go through and I break it up sentence by sentence and make sure that I'm understanding what I'm reading. Awesome. Nice job, Jen. Way to go.